Okay, good evening, dear parents. Welcome all of you to our weekly mastermind support call. And a surprise element is Dr. Dalita Apachu, who's been part of our community since almost about 10 odd years. And today she decided that she's going to come here for a weekly support as well. Okay, welcome, ma'am. Welcome on board.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, just 1 minute. I'm going to ping your video as well. Yeah. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So welcome all of you. So for those of you, who require a little bit of introduction, you all gone to our parenting community wherein we have a parenting school. There are more than about 10 to 12 courses which we are given. And one of the main courses there in the name of Dr. Lalita Apachu, homeschooling and phonics. And those of you who are having children above the age of 2.5 years, we are also providing an additional course called as phonics. And she is one of the eminent educators in Karnataka. She designs curriculums, especially when it comes to phonics. And most of the schools in Karnataka, they're using her curriculum for teaching their children on phonics and language development. Okay. And it is really her goodwill due to which she is accepted to be part of our parenting community. Just because we came up with an idea, mother is the first teacher, home is the first school. What happens? In case if there is a dedicated mother who wants to go ahead and learn every bit of parenting and see how she or he can implement things to our children, and she is extending the support to our community as well. Otherwise, it is meant only for schools, and she trains the teachers, and her job is basically to train the teachers on teaching phonics to the children. But here in our community, she's also associated with us. And those of you who are interested in implementing phonics, you would have probably seen that courses which is available, and that belongs to Dr. Dalita Apachu. She's been associated with us for the last almost 10 years. And today she's made herself free and available for to participate in our enlighten all the parents with her learnings and her experience, whatever she has. So without much ado, I'm going to start shooting her with all the questions, whatever you people have given me. And let's see what is in store for you. I'm sure that all of you are going to have associated with her. Okay. So the how I just want to set the context for this weekly mastermind session now. We have around 15 to 20 questions, which is general, which I'm going to be taking up as of now itself. And if the time permits, then we'll be responding to the questions which are coming in the chat. And if again the time permits, and probably we can take 1 or 2 questions live as well. I'll give you the access to unmute yourself. Right now, you will not be able to unmute yourself. And you can post your queries in the chat box. Maybe it depends, depending on the time availability. So we're going to be here for another 1.5 hours. Let's see how things go around. Ma'am, welcome back to our community after a
Thank you. Thank you.
Time. Okay, so let me get started with the first question. Pallavi Dubey. Sometimes my son loses interest in studying, like reading and writing. He is about 4.9 years old. Currently, he is in UKG. I'm willing to repeat his UKG next year too. Please suggest, as I want his base to be strong. This is the right question for right person. Please start, ma'am. What is your insight on this?
Children losing interest in reading and writing is very common. And it also depends on how you have planned the home teaching environment. One, do you have a flexible routine? But you need to have a routine so that the child knows that this is the time when I need to be doing some amount of learning. That is one. Do you have a particular place that is very colorful, that is very attractive for the child? Have you adopted a lot of activities and a lot of playway method that your child can learn through? Because if it is only rote learning where you are repeating and the child is repeating, or where the child is repeatedly doing a certain particular kind of an activity, all children get very bored. So you select a concept that you want your child to learn, and you design a game or you design an activity, and you can also take the child outside and relate an activity to the concept you're teaching. Relate what the child can see outside to the concept you want your child to learn. So this is the way you teach children. Merely getting them to sit in a place, read, write, makes it very boring for a child. So you need to be a little innovative as a parent. And the minute your child loses interest, don't force. It's very counterproductive, because you cannot force a child to learn. You can only motivate a child to learn. You can inspire a child to learn. And for that, you have to be a very, very creative parent. And you need to be coming up with your own activities to teach a particular concept. For example, let me give you an example. For example, you're trying to get your child to read a particular sentence made up of maybe 2 or 3 phonic words and 2 or 3 sight words. Now, before the child reads that sentence, you put these words perhaps on flashcards, and then you have a game with the child. Okay, so you tell your child, if I will first read one word and I will get 1 point. Then you read another word, a flashcard with that word, and you will get 1 point. And let's see who will get more points. So make it into a game. So once your child can read all the words in that flashcard, then get your child to put those flashcards and make a sentence. So now your child is reading a sentence. And then what you do is you paste some chart paper on the wall. You paste a chart paper on the wall, and you write some of those words on that chart paper and get your child to write it below. Now, to all the parents out there, it's always a very good idea to have a nice whiteboard for your child at home. Let it be a nice big one where the child can scribble and play and do whatever he or she wants. Children love to write on the board rather than writing on paper. They love to write on the board, and it doesn't cost much. A nice big whiteboard will cost you anywhere between 200 to 300 rupees. So have a particular corner for a child. It is the child's learning corner. In this learning corner, have the whiteboard, have beautiful storybooks. Let it be very comfortable. And I don't recommend a table and chair, because children love to sit on the ground. So let the child sit on the ground on a nice, comfortable carpet with those little small tables that you have that the child can write with when the child is sitting on the ground. Then make that place very attractive. Make all materials accessible to the child. So that is how you motivate a child to learn. So whenever a child has to learn a particular concept, please think of an activity. Please think of a game. And before you make the child write on paper, get the child to write on a whiteboard or a blackboard. Let the child play teacher. So while the child is writing on a blackboard or whiteboard, let the child teach you. Children love to play teacher. And it gives the child a lot of, motivation to teach you words. So this is the way you teach a child. Merely sitting with the child and saying, okay, now you read this, you write this. It's very counterproductive. So change it into a game. So once the child has mastered the concept by writing it on the board, by reading it on flashcards, by teaching you those words, then perhaps you can gently lead the child to a particular book you may be using. But never force a child to sit and learn when the child is not in the mood or not interested. You have to be very creative. Come up with activities and come up with games to teach a particular concept. Okay. And this whiteboard on the wall, accessible to the child with lots of different colored markers, is very, very motivating for the child. It also strengthens the child's pencil grip. So this whiteboard is used to write letters, to write words, to write sentences, to draw pictures, to teach you the parent. So you, the parent, becomes the pupil, and the teacher is now and the child is now the teacher. So you play teacher with your child. Let your child teach you. So in this way, indirectly, the child would be learning through teaching. So this is what I would suggest to you. So whenever your child loses interest, number one, stop teaching. Number two, change what concept the child has to learn into a game or an activity, and invest in a nice board that you put on the wall with lots of colorful markers that the child can use whenever it wants to use, and have a very attractive learning corner in the house for the child, which will make the child more interested in learning. Okay, I hope I've answered your question.
Definitely, ma'am. One question, and you're given about 4 to 5 different activities. Whiteboard, okay. And in addition to what Mrs. Lalita said, Dr. Lalita said, whiteboard nowadays you don't have to go for the board. There are nowadays these vinyl stickers, self-adhesive stickers, which come in different sizes. So depending on your wall, where you want to put that thing, you can also decide. They all come in different strips. Okay, you just have to purchase, make an online purchase on Amazon. Per square feet, they're going to be charging some 30 bucks or 40 bucks. So you can identify and pick up a sticker, villain sticker, and paste it on your wall. And this is something what you can always remove it and paste it elsewhere as well. Okay, so I mean that is the latest thing available. I have it at my place, and the kids enjoy it. And you also get it in black as well as in white. So if you want to give them this chalk, you can go for a black vinyl sheet, or you can also go for a white vinyl sheet if you want to give them a marker. That's great, no, ma'am. I mean, we didn't have. I mean, these are all the new additions which has happened in the market. Okay, next is Shravan Koppula. My kid is throwing everything in his reach, and sometimes destroying valuables like phones, throwing things at people, and doesn't realize that it might hurt them. Pushing and beating other kids at a very first sight. And we have been potty training for 2 months now, and while doing it after, but not before doing it. I mean, he's not communicating. Okay, there are 2 questions. One is about hitting aggressive behavior. The next is the potty training. You can go one by one.
Okay, let me handle aggressive behavior in children. Children become aggressive when they are a little emotionally disturbed. And I do not know what is bothering your child. Maybe the child feels threatened when other children are around, or maybe it could be a separation anxiety, or maybe it could be because the child feels that the parent's attention is being given to other children. But this definitely is a behavior that you have to discourage. And if you can have what is called a hitting corner in the house, where the child, whenever the child wants to hit, you say, no, you do not hit people. You take your plastic bat and go hit that. And you can have a nice big, you have those big teddy bears. You get life-size teddy bears. As you're going on the road, you can have them. So keep a big life-size teddy bear there and a plastic bat, and tell the child that is your hitting teddy bear. So if you're angry, go hit the teddy bear and come back. But hitting other people, no. And yes, children tend to throw things maybe in anger or frustration. So try not to keep expensive things within the reach of your child. And again, if you can have the same next to the hitting corner, a nice throwing corner where the child has a nice big basket and a lot of things to throw, then perhaps you can tell the child, look, if you want to throw, go there and throw a lot of things. But you will notice that when the child has something to hit and take out its frustration and aggressive on, then they are less likely to hit other people. So notice a child generally hits and becomes very aggressive when the child feels threatened, when the child is afraid, when the child is frustrated and feels that a need is not being met. You need to identify what is bothering your child, and your child is behaving like this. But try and see if you can set up a hitting corner in your house with a big life-size teddy bear and a plastic bat where the child can go and hit and take out all his or her frustration on. Again, if the child wants to throw things in anger, make sure that once the child throws something, tell the child, okay, there are other things you can throw. So have a throwing basket where you put a lot of things that the child can pick up and throw, and wisely keep away anything that is expensive. Keep it away from your child's reach. That is something you'll have to be a little careful about. Potty training. Observe, you'll find that children, when they want to pass urine or motion, they become a little uncomfortable. They might squirm, or they might hold their underwear, or they might pass wind. So when this happens, just gently take the child and make the child sit on a potty or a commode. Just watch for signs. And your child is still very young, so don't worry if the child is still, passing urine or passing motion in the diaper. Slow and never ever let the child associate passing motion or urine with stress. If you scold the child, or if you express dissatisfaction when the child passes urine or motion in the panty, then the child associates passing of urine and motion with stress, So even if the child passes motion in the panty, please don't express dissatisfaction, don't express displeasure. It is okay. Tell the child it is okay. Next time, tell me, we'll go to the bathroom. So make it into something that is very non-stressful, but keep a lookout for signs. So whenever you find that your child is a little uncomfortable or behaving as if he or she wants to go to the toilet, just gently pick up the child and just put the child on the potty, and then both of you can start singing nursery rhymes, or sitting on the potty, you can start playing some game, and keep the child on the potty for about 5 minutes until he or she passes motion. It takes time. It takes time to train. Okay. So that's what you need to be doing.
Okay, jumping corner, hitting corner, and many corners. I think we had made it very clear in the very first day of the training. These different corners, tearing corner, and even throwing corner. Now, addition to that, throwing corner as well. Okay, Ranjita GA. My son is 6 years old. Whenever I sit with him to teach, he gets distracted and his attention span is very low. He has sister who is around 3 years old, so he compares with her always, like, if she sits and studies, then only I will do. How to cope up with this and increase the concentration? He grinds his teeth in the sleep during the night. Is there something to worry about? What can I do for it? Yeah, there are two questions. Probably one is setting an example with the sister.
Yeah. You need to first understand that your child is still very small. He may have a younger sister, but he is also a child. And I think it annoys him that he has to study and the little baby is not studying. And lack of concentration is very normal in little children. So what I would suggest is give him short breaks, okay? Let him perhaps sit for about 5 minutes and then maybe give him a break. And then again, as I suggested to the previous parent, see if you can make the learning interesting through games and activities. And maybe if you can, rather than getting him to merely sit in that learning space, and generally boys are a little more restless than girls, if you can make it into a physical activity for him. They love to play cricket. So can you link what he is learning to maybe cricket? And say, take the bat, and if you can have letters made up of balls, put letters on balls and tell him, okay, we are going to spell cat. First hit C, then hit A, then hit T. So he is learning through games. He's learning through activities. So if you can have such activities, and then comparing himself with his younger sibling, he needs to be perhaps gently made to understand that baby is still very small and may not be ready to learn as much as he is. But then if you can coax your little one to come and sit with the brother, and you have a lot of Montessori material that the child can work with for a 3-year-old child. Maybe you can get some of that Montessori material where she can move letters A, B, C, D and put it in slots. So while she's playing with a Montessori material in that learning space, you can tell your older child, look, now she's learning. She's learning with her material. So now you can learn in your own way. But this lack of concentration is very common among little children. And you as a parent should be a little creative in changing that activity into a game, changing the learning into a game, the concept into a game, and giving your child short breaks. And boys generally prefer to learn through physical activities. So can you change that learning into a physical activity and get your child to learn? So this is what I would suggest. But getting bored is very, very common with little children, especially with boys. And that is something you need to handle and come up with innovative and interesting activities to get your child to learn.
And grinding the teeth in the sleep. My son used to do it till he was about 7 to 8 years. Yeah.
That could be for regarding grinding the teeth. There are two aspects to it. That is, if a child is under emotional stress and unable to express negative emotions, it is very important for you to sit every day, and this is for all parents who are listening, sit every day and find out the things that made your child happy and the things that made your child sad or angry. Children need to be given a platform to express negative emotions. They need to be given a platform to express their anger against parents or elders. I mean, you may not agree with your child, but you have to listen. Now, when a child does not express negative emotions but bottles it up, it leads to what is called an inner tension, which might come out while the child is sleeping. Okay? So if you can give a platform for your child to express negative emotions, it will help the child. Another reason for this also could be because of worms, okay, and digestive problems. Exactly. So that is also something you need to talk to your doctor about and get your child treated. Okay?
Yeah, in my son's case, it was more to do with the stomach problem. Whenever they're going through the stomach problem, they also have this grinding the teeth as well. Okay. In fact, I just want to add to that, ma'am. In fact, off late, what I've started with my children is every night before I go to sleep, I just strike a conversation with them, and I just did it for about 4 to 5 days in a row. I used to go and ask them, is there anything that you feel that I should apologize for you? You want me to tell you sorry for whatever I did today? Okay. And first day I didn't get any response. The third day onwards, they started identifying. Okay. Now it is come to a stage wherein they also think of the reasons why they need to be apologetic to other friends or maybe to me. I did something like this today for which I think probably I have hurt you. And we'll talk about it in some other platform wherein that's a wonderful technique.
No, that's wonderful. It's a very good thing that you brought it up, because I gave them a kind of a general idea that children need to express negative emotions. Now, what you have done is you've given them a very concrete activity, and I hope parents will start implementing this as soon as possible. This is a very, very good thing that you need to do with children.
Anamika Saurabh, the next question. My child is 4.9. Please share some activities to improve concentration. She is good at grasping, but concentration is difficult.
We like to say concentration, but it's very difficult for little children to concentrate beyond 2-3 minutes. That's all. Beyond 2-3 minutes.
And their learning skill is so fast. Their learning
skill
is very fast.
And you all need to keep changing the activity and, taking them to new activities within 5 minutes. Otherwise, they'll get bored. It's very normal. So you need to think of activities. There are plenty of activities available on the internet. I'm sure you all are very creative. So you all need to come up with activities that keep your child engaged. Otherwise, they will get bored, and it's very, very natural. Don't expect them to sit for 5 minutes doing the same thing. It's not possible, and we don't expect it. They get tired and they lose concentration.
Okay, what is the milestone of 3 to 4 months old baby?
I think there are milestones. I think, Mr. Raghunath, have you taken the milestones?
We have separate modules also. There's nothing to worry. One is that probably you would have used the black and white flashcards till they're about 3 months, and it's a very lengthy session. We'll take it up. I'll be probably creating a video on that and giving you, because it almost takes about 15-20 minutes of identifying what are the different milestones. We'll come up with that one of these days. I mean, talking about all the milestones from 0 to 3 years. We are planning a separate session for that as well. Okay. And Swati Menderita, suggest some creative activities for my 3-month-old daughter. Again, the same question.
3-month-old daughter.
3-month-old daughter.
3-month-old daughter.
Yeah.
3-year-old or 3-month-old?
3 month.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of the activities that parenting for you gives really cater to the child's activity. Sing to your child.
Stimulation. Just
Simulation.
use the flashcards. Okay, just love and affection, what you require, and food and nutrition. You go through we have a separate module on food and nutrition, and we have 2 trainings from Dr. Lalita as well. And just keep the child will be getting engaged by themselves at that age. They will never say.
No. Have you made the child's environment very interesting, very colorful with pictures, and are you reading to your child every day? You may say, my child is only 3 months old. You'll be surprised. You must start reading to your child in the womb, and you start reading to your child from month 1, from the first month. So are you reading to your child? Are you showing pictures to your child? Are you singing to your child? Are you cuddling your child? All this builds the child's creativity. So there is so much you can do as a parent, to really stimulate the child's brain and the child's creativity.
The basic concept for that age group is say and do. Okay, I think we have already told you in that 5-day WhatsApp bootcamp. Say and do. Anything you're doing with the child, keep talking about it. Make sure that there is a background commentary which is going on, whether when you're giving bath to your child, when you're feeding your child, whatever you're doing, say and do. And it works more with that age children, especially 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. That also helps in a lot of neural connections as well. Okay. Yeah, and yes, Pooja Kumari, how to explain my child about the mental illness? My brother has schizophrenia, negative symptoms. He stayed with us for more than 1.5 years, many a times following a basic hygiene during pandemic. I had to force him. Also for following the basic daily routine work, how he is understanding rehabilitation. Now he is undergoing rehabilitation at our hometown as his major treatment from AIMS Delhi is over. My child saw all this for such a long time, and this surely have impacted him a lot. He has also picked many bad habits, which I am trying to correct by bringing a rhythm in his daily life, and things are getting better slowly. I have tried to explain him about the illness, but need your guidance on that. He might understand the reason behind the past events which would have impacted him. Thank you. It's a very lengthy question, but you answered it yourself. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. It's enough to tell your child that his uncle, I think it's his uncle, isn't it?
Uncle.
His uncle is not well. Uncle is not well. Okay. You don't have to go into very lengthy explanations. Now, this is another thing I want to tell all parents. Mental illness, unless a person is born with it, is to a great extent a lifestyle phenomenon. What do I mean by a lifestyle phenomenon? Because we are not giving the body the nutrition it requires, it goes into severe nutritional deficiency. Now, if your body goes into nutritional deficiency, if there is, I think there is one video called how junk food impacts your child's emotional, physical, and mental health. Please go through this. If the cells in our body do not get the required nutrition, if there is intense cellular distress, if there is cellular inflammation, if there is a lot of if there is a lot of free radicals in our body, then what happens is our sodium potassium pump cannot work, and our sodium potassium pump has to work for our cells to communicate. So mental illness does not develop overnight. It's a very gradual process where the body gets depleted of nutrients over years, and then it manifests as an illness. It could be a physical illness, an emotional illness, or a mental illness. If you make sure that you do 2 things. One is ensure that your child always has a healthy diet. It has become a modern disease of junk food. It's a disease of junk food. Your child cries for chocolate, you give chocolate. Your child cries for pizza, you give pizza. Your child cries for burger, you give burger. And all the unhealthy foods stacked in the supermarkets. It impacts your child in such a terrible way. But the impact is shown only when the child reaches adolescence, because then hormonal changes also are taking place. So one, make sure that you give your child an absolutely wonderful, nutritious diet all the time. And you set an example. So the diet part. Secondly, make sure that the environment in the house is not toxic. If the child is under constant psychological trauma, you have intense cellular distress. The body releases cortisols, which start attacking the cells and depleting the cells of nutrients. One of the major causes for nutrients being depleted from the body is psychological trauma. Psychological trauma. It depletes the body of nutrition. So make sure that your child does not have to live in a house where there is a lot of psychological stress. So that is the second aspect. Then, when you know that somebody in the family is undergoing mental health problems, you'll need to really focus on the nutrition of the person. Number one, no sugar. Sugar causes intense cellular inflammation. Cut down on refined carbs. Make sure that the oils that you use are only olive oil and coconut oil. All other oils cause cellular inflammation. So you must, this is a huge topic, the kind of foods that you need to be taking for both physical and mental health well-being. So you also need to focus on that. Now, you need to understand that the medications that are given for all illnesses, the allopathic medicines that are given, often deplete the body of 4 of our main electrolytes: calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. Calcium and magnesium are needed for your mitochondria. It's needed for your endoplasm. I'm going into science. It's needed for your endoplasmic reticulum. It's needed for protein folding. And sodium and potassium is needed for your cells to communicate. So when medicines are given, it depletes the body of these electrolytes. So you need to give foods that are rich in this. So you need to take care of your child's health from now, making sure that you don't feed your child with junk food. And of course, yes, and don't go into too much of explanation about what your brother was going through. Just tell your child he is not well, and focus now on your child's well-being. Yes, getting a rhythm and a routine into your child's life and into your child's day is very, very important.
Okay, so that's a very exhaustive answer what we have had. Pallavi, how to encourage my Prema Sharma, how to encourage my child for puzzle games. My son is not interested in puzzle or jigsaw puzzles.
If he's not interested, he's not interested. What is he interested in? You get things that he's interested in. You can't force a human being to be interested in something.
Multiple intelligence. I think we have a separate training on multiple intelligence.
So here, and okay, maybe he's interested in cricket. So if you can make a jigsaw out of the faces of cricket players, maybe he'll be happy to put it together. And he may not be interested in putting together a jigsaw of Disney characters or some scenic beauty. Anyway, don't force a child into something he is not interested.
Raghunath, please go through the multiple intelligence blueprint what we have. You need to understand the concept of multiple intelligence. Based on that, your child's interest, you start engaging with different kind of activities. It's a very powerful module what we have. Okay, Mrs. Pallavi Patil, how to improve motor skills in children? In my son's case, he's able to hold the things tightly, but exactly opposite with the crayons. How old is the baby? Baby is 3.6.
Okay. Again, stick a nice white chart paper on the wall. Give your child paint. Give your child a brush and let your child paint on the wall. 1, it's very interesting. 2, it will really improve their pencil and pencil grip and the muscles of their fingers. So and let it be a place where the child can make a mess. And this is one of the most interesting ways for your child to really improve the fine motor skills. Another thing children love to do is when mummy is, kneading atta, they also love to knead atta. So give him a small plate and give him some atta and give him and ask him to knead it. Again, it will help in improving the fine motor skills of the fingers. So let the child do everyday household activities imitating the parent, which will help in improving their fine motor skills and strengthening their fingers and wrist muscles. Okay, so this is what I would suggest. Even painting, just 1 minute. Even painting with sponge. What do I mean by painting with sponge? Have a palette with 3 or 4 colors and give the child a sponge to hold. Let the child dip the sponge in different colors and paint on the chart paper which has been stuck on the wall, or even a chart paper which is on the ground. This is again another activity that they like. Another activity that they love is to seal, to put seals. You get nice different kinds of seals in the market, and with smiley faces and butterflies. So give your child a white paper and draw lines, and ask your child to put seals on those lines and make a nice pattern, and then stick it. And once the child has finished with the paper, you can stick it up on the wall, and the child will feel very proud about the work he or she has done.
Great. We also have another module called as sensory development. There are some slime activities and all that. Please go through it. It is available in our platform as well. Okay, Mrs. Tanu Kumari, my son is 3.6-year-old, doesn't take interest in writing and easily gets distracted by some of the other things, not having proper sitting while doing online classes and tuition. Please advise.
I have nothing to advise. The child is too small. Please don't force the child.
In fact, our advice is...
I don't know. I don't think online classes work for little children. Please don't force your child if there are online classes. Please don't force your child to write. Your child is too small. Instead, all these interesting activities that I've been suggesting to parents, you do it at home. Don't get obsessed with your online classes. The same thing you can have the child do on a blackboard or a whiteboard or a chartboard with a lot of paint and sponge, and you can make it interesting. The child is too small. Of course, online classes are boring for a little child. Even adults can't sit. And I'm sure you will agree with me. How long can you sit? It's not possible. And your child is too small. No.
In today's day and age, the online classes is not making sense, except that the schools don't have any other options.
Exactly.
There's no educator in this world would recommend online classes for any child less than, what is your age limit, ma'am? 10 years, 6 years? Maybe 6, max is 6, right?
No, I have seen even high school students getting bored with that. Earlier, they used to have the smart board. The minute the teacher put on the smart board, I used to hear this groan. Oh, they hated the smart board. Okay. Children love hands-on activities. They love to work in groups. They love to have discussion. They love to show you what they know. They love to do and learn. Parents, children love to do and learn. Can you do and learn on an online class? Your child has to do and learn. Be creative. That's what you need to be doing. Okay. And to this parent, if your child is not interested in online classes, don't force the child. The same thing, you change it into a hands-on activity for the child.
In fact, alternatively, there are a lot of online classes which engages the children with many activities. You can try it out. Maybe the money what you spent for the school would go waste, but still it is worth it. Okay, Deepali Gupta, hello ma'am. My 3.6 years daughter and 4 years boy, faster learner, but do gimmick at the times of learning. After little strict, they start doing given task, little hit or stick. Is it okay for them? We're not understanding the question. Before you advise hitting is not a solution. I stopped, but after that, starting to avoid my words. I don't want to punish them. I don't want to punish them, but not able to understand what to do. Essentially, what I understand is the kids are not listening to you. We have told you not to hit your children. Hitting is totally banned in our community. And maybe what is the alternative solution? We need to come up with the alternative to punishment, ma'am. We have done a wonderful session. Unfortunately, we don't have the clear video of that. We'll come up with that. That's a wonderful session. Alternative to punishment. Okay, please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, you need to now understand that when you force a human being, whatever is done unwillingly. So you need to know how to dialogue with your children, and you need to tell them, okay, you tell me how you want this learning to be designed. And as I told a parent earlier, you need to give your child small breaks. So let your child sit and learn maybe for 5 to 8 minutes. Then you take a break. Both of you take a break. Say, okay, now let's sing. Let's go and dance around the coffee table, or let's blow bubbles for 5 minutes. And you for 5 minutes or 2-3 minutes, you have a stop clock. So tell your child that, look at the clock. The clock will start, and now we will start blowing bubbles. And until the clock stops, we will blow bubbles. Now, once the clock stops, we will stop blowing bubbles, and then we will get back to our learning. So in this way, the child also knows, okay, I can do some learning, then I'm going to have an interesting activity. And then again, I will do some learning, and again, I'm going to have a break. So in this way, children also are willing to learn when they have frequent breaks. Being over strict and hitting and forcing, as Mr. Raghunath said, I also I do not recommend that. I prefer you to do it in a way that maybe leads the child towards the learning in an interesting way. And for that, you need to be a little more creative and how you can get your child to do the activity that you want your child to do.
Okay, so we have a question from Sujata Dapina. It's a very lengthy question. The gist of it is, I'm a working mom. My first child is 4.10 years. The second one is 6 months. Regarding my elder child, while waking up in the morning, I'm trying to make her go to do all the morning routines. And she used to be doing it when I was there. Nowadays, she's not willing to do it on herself. She's playing with her toys or with her sister or doing something with the crayons like that. She's doing perfectly all right. Actually, she has discipline. She was not disciplined due to many reasons. As I'm working in emergency department, my working hours are not fixed. I couldn't set a routine for her. No one in the family have that patience to tell her without shouting at her. So I'm only dealing with her. But sometimes I'm also losing temper and I'm also shouting at her. Please guide me how to set a routine without trouble her much. There is a module, rhythm of 2020 parenting. Please go through it and let's see what ma'am has got in store for you. Yeah, ma'am.
The reason why your child behaves the way she behaves is because she misses you. And no other human being can give the child the love and affection that a mother gives. Okay, so when you come home and you are with your child, first pay attention to her need for your love and attention. Undivided. Ask her about her day. Sit with her. Talk to her and meet her need to feel loved and cared for. Okay. Then afterwards, you can perhaps gently take her towards doing what she wants to do. But when you get home, don't first focus on setting a routine and getting her to do what you want her to do. Okay. And then gently you can start making her do what you want her to do, but be there with her. Explain to her why you want her to do what you want her to do and how she has to do it. As far as possible, be very gentle with the child. Stop shouting at her. She's getting enough shouting and scolding from other family members. Please don't add to it. Okay. I know it's difficult to be patient when you've had a long day, you're tired, and you also want the child to finish whatever work has to be done. She's still very young and she needs your love and attention, and that is why she is behaving like this. Okay, so give her that when you come.
These are all the nuances of parenting. Once you are part of our community in a longer duration, you slowly learn one by one. Okay, so there are a lot of things. There is not a specific solution for a specific problem. There are a lot many more questions coming up like this, and like Dr. Lalita, Mrs. Vanita, they all have different views on what are the different solutions. So it is something what fits you the best. Okay, you need to identify what is good for your family, your background, and your value systems. Then you can start implementing it accordingly. Stick on to us for a longer duration. Slowly you'll be learning that. Neha Motre, my elder one is 3.5 years, doesn't share any of his toy with the younger one who is about 1.2 month old, 1 year, 2 month old. In fact, if my younger one is holding anything which is of no interest to the elder one, still he snatches it. Secondly, my younger one is also so adamant, if he doesn't get things of his choice, he falls over on the floor, hurts himself. How to handle sibling rivalry? You don't want to call that sibling rivalry anyway. Yes.
Your older child is also a baby. That is something you need to understand. Okay. Now, you need to ensure that both the younger one and the older one have their own space where they keep their own property. And both of them, they have to respect each other's space and property. Your little one may be very small, but that small child also needs to understand that if I am to take my brother's things, I need to ask permission. And your older child also needs to have the right to refuse. I know you might say, what are you saying? But children are very possessive about their things. And they need to have the right to refuse to share. Make sure that the younger one has enough and adequate toys, and the older one also should not touch the younger one's toys without asking permission. Respect for property and space should develop at this young age, when both of them realize that certain things belong to each other and they have to ask permission before they can take it. And if this becomes a habit, then the child will not even think of touching another person's property without asking permission. That is the way we train we train children. If you don't do that, then the older one will grow up into a very frustrated child, feeling that everybody's unfair to me and they expect me to constantly share things. Yes, the younger one will throw a temper tantrum, but nothing will happen. Let the child cry and scream. And tell the child, if you want it, you go ask permission, and let the child ask for permission for things. But make sure that both of them have their own space where their properties are kept and where their properties are respected. And this is something that perhaps is good for both the children, because then they know that my property will not be touched without my permission. It gives them some amount of control over their life and their things.
There's a sense of ownership.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Priya, my kid is 3 years old. Is a day nap mandatory? If so, till how many years the day nap is important? And my child sleeps after lunch around 2:30 and wakes up at 5 p.m. Is a day nap mandatory for the child?
Not necessary. If the child is energetic and does not want to sleep, you don't have to put the child to sleep. But an early sleep time at night is important for a child. Maybe by 7:38, put the child to sleep. And please put off your TV by 7:38. Because if you watch TV, your child will watch TV and go to sleep at 11 o'clock, which is very, very bad for the child.
But most of the occasions, we try to tell the parents the day nap could be avoided if the night habit gets in place. The sleeping and eating is something what you don't have to worry. The children will do it by themselves.
Yes.
It's only that we need to just give a suitable atmosphere. Parul Jain, on the contrary, how to make my baby sleep at night? That is the question. The next question.
I don't know what the problem could be, but have a rhythm. How old is the child?
1 year.
Have a rhythm and make sure that all electronic gadgets are switched off maybe by 7:38.
Including the Wi-Fi.
Yes. And then just before the child is to be put to sleep, you can have singing, you can have storytelling, and you can cozy up with your child in bed, and both of you can perhaps play games on the bed, but stay on that bed. No roaming around. And let the child understand that by the time it is 7:38, it is nap time. It may take some time for you to train your child, but very often children don't sleep at the particular time that they're supposed to sleep only because they're distracted by all the electronic gadgets that adults are using. It's a very good idea just before the child sleeps to perhaps read a storybook or read a book or look at a book with a lot of pictures and have conversations with your child on the bed. Maybe sing songs with your child and have a routine where your child knows that at this time it is bedtime and we need to go to bed.
Okay, Himanshu Sahu. My kid is 3 years old, 3 years and 3 months old, not exposed to school. Recently, we started to send him to school in junior KG according knowledgely of the child, but he don't know how to write. So still confused. Should we start the schooling from KG or nursery? Start with the phonics.
No, you can stick to junior KG, but just do a little help the child at home. The child has just started. Just help the child at home, and then the child will pick up in senior KG. Not an issue.
So Ashwini Kulkarni, my baby shows interest in flashcards. Anyway, I think we have many questions which are related to methodology. If the time permits, we can take it today. But like I've already told you people, all the questions on methodology will take up exclusively by Rajeshwari, which we normally do it on the weekends. Either Saturday, every fortnight, we have a session either on methodology or a Q&A on the methodology. There is a video which we already uploaded in our portal as well. The last Sunday, whatever the Q&A sessions only related to methodology. Let's not fix it up. So today's session is exclusively for general Q&A sessions, and methodology will be doing it exclusively on weekends. I think all the questions, whatever I have is on methodology. If the time permits, can we take up a couple of questions which are there in the chat box, ma'am?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay. How to motivate him to speak? My baby is my 3-year-old boy has a delayed speech. Okay. How to motivate him to sleep? My question to you, Mr. Shruti, is has a doctor certified anything like delayed speech, or is it only your assumption? You go ahead, ma'am. You please confirm with your doctor. Yeah.
As Mr. Raghunath said, don't assume that your child has delayed speech. You can play sound games. You know what are sound games? Say pop, 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 pop. And if you can get, the child, you have those things when you blow into it, those paper toys, it sort of stretches. I don't know where you get it. So if you can get your child to blow into it and say pop, 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 and then have other activities where the child says la 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 la. Don't force the child. Make it into a game where the child is imitating your mouth movement. You can have finger puppets, or you can have puppets where one puppet says ba, 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 and the other puppet says something else, and your child has to make that noise. So let your child make a lot of noises, okay? And then through a lot of puppetry and a lot of stick puppets and a lot of pictures, you can stimulate your child to say words and to speak through songs. If you can sing with your child through songs, you can stimulate your child. But generally, boys, they take their own time to speak, okay? So don't worry too much, and don't label your child. But
as long as they're able to, as long as they're able to.
1 minute. Just have a lot of sound games with your child, where you give your child's tongue and lips a lot of activity so that it strengthens. So that you could do that.
Okay, so we have another query from Vivan. I think he was referring to our example of setting up a teddy bear for hitting and practicing it. But isn't this practice of hitting the life-size teddy bear kind of motivate him to raise the hands on others too? We are sometimes away and the kids things as they like. In fact, one of the reason why we gave you this solution is only to avoid in case if the child is hitting others. Okay, wherein we can set a context to them telling that this is what is a hitting piece, not other way around. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah, the child needs to understand that living things cannot be hit. And when I say living things, I even mean plants, animals, and human beings. Only things that don't have life, you can go there to your teddy bear and hit. And in that way, you're allowing your child to take out all its anger on the teddy bear.
Letting go of our frustrations.
Yes,
okay, that's
yes.
the best thing. Have a punching bag. punching
Yes.
corner. Okay. So my Renuka Bedi, my 11-month-old kind is doing the same hitting thing. Okay. So we'll be able to understand my words. Okay. My baby is 5-month-old. Can we use this walker for him? I heard that walker use is not good for a baby. Please confirm. Yes, walker is not good for a 5-month-old baby. Please go ahead, ma'am.
It is not. And
Yeah.
why do you want a 5-month-old baby to start walking? Children start walking at 1 year, not 5 months.
Yeah. I think probably they're referring to that circular thing which they keep the child inside and they keep
And
that
they
goes
keep,
all
okay,
around.
okay.
That is banned. In fact, most of the doctors also nowadays, maybe they don't tell patients, but even that has to be banned. The leg deformation happens because of that kind of a movement. It doesn't have control. In case if you want to put them on walker, maybe that the trolley kind of a thing, no, which they hold it on one end, they start walking straight one direction. That is more feasible than the circular one which goes in all the directions. Okay, I have received the package. How do I start? Please go through the onboarding bundle which is already available in our 2020 parenting, and all your questions will be answered. Okay, good idea. I will do it. My son is 6 years old and bedwetting. What should I do?
One, do not express displeasure. Do not express displeasure. Children bedwet because they are under great stress, number one. Number two, because of a weak bladder. Okay. Each time your child bedwets, just say it's perfectly okay. But another good thing is wake up your child in the middle of the night and just get your child to go to the toilet. If you do that, you'll find that bedwetting will reduce. Okay. Or tell your child, wake me up in the middle of the night and we will go to the bathroom. But please don't express displeasure. Take your child to the doctor to see if the child has a weak bladder. And if this way, the child will overgrow this. But so long as you are very patient and gentle and you assure the child there's nothing to worry, and you wake up the child in the middle of the night and you take the child to the toilet. Okay.
And also use sleep learn technique. I think we already have the templates. You can also try out the sleep learn technique for your child. Okay, Shruti Deshpande, my baby is 5 months old and he is continuously chewing his lips. What can it be done?
5 months, is it?
5 months.
5 months.
5 months.
I don't know. I don't know why this could be. I think a pediatrician will be able to answer this better, because generally a child that tiny, is the child teething? Can you get the child something to bite on? Maybe if the child is teething, the teeth are coming out, the gums are tickling. So get a child a nice, those teething toys, that soft rubber that the child can bite on. Maybe that will help your child. Okay, that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, Dr. Fatma, ma'am, can I show my 16-month-old baby alphabet and number flashcards?
You can, but make it into a game. The child doesn't have to learn. Okay, quickly, like one of your stimulation cards. That's all.
Okay. Sham Prasad, my daughter age is 17 months and you said not to say don't and no. How to convey without no and don't words? There are positive affirmations.
No, explain. For example, supposing it's a very expensive camera and the child is holding it. Instead of don't touch it, you tell your child, you have to be very careful when you are lifting that. Shall I show you how to lift it? And then actually hold it and keep it in your child's hands. That's all they want. They just want to know what that is. So explain to a child and tell the child how a particular thing has to be done. And then explain to a child why certain things should be done in a certain way and certain things should not be done in a certain way. We tend to be very bossy and dominating and giving them rules. Instead, we need to be a little more gentle and explain things to them. It's called conditioning. If from a very young age you condition children to do certain things in a certain way, it becomes a lifelong habit. It becomes a lifelong habit. And that is what you need to do. You need to change negative conditioning into positive conditioning. Each time you use a don't, it's a negative conditioning. Change it into a positive conditioning and tell the child, do this. This is how you should do. When you do this, this will happen. You're a good girl. You did this. Good boy. You kept it nicely. That is called positive conditioning. So please change your conditioning from negative to positive.
Power of spoken words. We have already covered that. You can also go through it. Speak of what you want in your life and not about what you don't want.
Yes.
Just speak about whatever you want.
Yes.
Okay, so this is very interesting topic. Yeah, ma'am. How can I understand interest of 3.6-year-old girl and 2.5-year-old boy? Multiple intelligence. Please go ahead and watch the video. Anything anything from your side, ma'am?
They are too young. They're
Yeah.
too young for you to say they are interested in anything. Just give them a nice, very creative environment, and they'll discover their own interests as they grow.
Okay. How do we teach them cleanliness aspects? I have been trying to guide my 3.5-year-old son, but he doesn't seem to be understanding or remember cleanliness.
That's okay. Condition the child. Don't shout at the child. Just demonstrate, and make sure that you keep the place very comfortable for the child to practice cleanliness. And even if the child is a little clumsy or untidy, very gently, don't reprimand the child, but just teach your child how to do the thing in the right way. I mean, that is the way you condition your child. Your child is still very young, still learning. Shouting is very counterproductive.
Okay, so I'm a working woman living in a joint family. My son is afraid by younger cousin sister. He all the time complaining that she's beating him. How can I make him confident?
I think this is a joint family problem. Yeah. And I think people in the family need to realize that both the children have certain rights. Yes. And they need to also, and it's not just your child, the other child also needs to be conditioned not to hit. And so it's something that the whole entire family should get together and take responsibility for. And generally, you'll find that in a joint family, older children tend to boss younger children and dominate them. So this is something that you all must discuss as a family and rectify. And also teach your child to express displeasure and tell the cousin, don't hit me. I don't like it. So teach your child to express displeasure, and teach your child to go and tell an older person, an adult, each time that cousin hits. And when you come back home, sit down with both of them and ask the older one why she hits. And when the older one realizes that you're actually monitoring her behavior, maybe she might stop. So these are some of the things you could try doing.
Yelling and chatting.
Yes.
Probably that aspect also we can.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the minimum age for grade 1, Anamika?
6 years.
Yes. Shilpa Rao, hello ma'am. When my 3.5-year-old son is playing with some toys, my 11-month-old baby goat takes the toy. At that time, my elder son gets angry and he will cry. If I give him to the elder son, my 11-month-old will cry a lot. How do we manage this condition?
I think I answered this question. Both of them need their own space and property. And it has to be respected.
6.9 years old and he is bedwetting. Yes, even this has been taken care. Bedwetting, already she's covered it. My elder one is 8 years and my younger one is 4. My elder is having more school activities and self-learning and writing, but she wants to only play with the little one and never wants to work at her activities. How help her elder as she lacks in school activities?
Sit with your older child, break up the activities, let her do an activity for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, give her a break, again sit with her, change those boring activities into interesting activities. That's the only way you can do it, okay? Don't make her sit for long periods and do the activity. She'll get very bored.
Yeah, I think Shruti is saying that they say he has a mild autism. Maybe she's referring to that question what we have taken. Yeah. Regarding potty training, my son is 2.9 years and he is reluctant to sit on the potty seat. He doesn't poop if I make him sit.
Okay. Don't focus on the pooping. No, don't focus on the pooping. You focus on a song, you focus on a book, you focus on pictures, you focus on a story. Do something when he's sitting on the potty. And, distract his attention, and maybe after some time, he'll do his potty. So you can perhaps put a toy in his hand when he's sitting on the potty and let him play with it. and don't force him though. Okay, that's all I can tell you. But look out for signs of uneasiness, and then the minute you see that the child is a little uneasy and passing wind, take the child and put the child on the potty.
My son is 3.9 years old. This is Ranjita. He wants to do everything in the house, from switching washing machine to turning on the gas to. We have told him about the dangerous things. Still, he continues to do that. He does not want to play on his own. Always someone has to be there with him for anything that he's doing. He's understanding and grasp everything, but doesn't want to show that he is very moody.
Okay, I think he feels a little neglected and wants to do all the things that the parents do. So my suggestion is keep him by your side, and if he really wants to help, give him small little tasks to do along with you. And when he is learning, please sit with him. Don't expect him to do work by himself. For some reason, this child wants the parent to be with him. So please be with him. And when you're doing work in the house, give him some work to do it, household. There's a wonderful way to train him to do household chores. So, and perhaps he'll grow up to be a very responsible child. When he's learning, sit with him, be with him, because he needs the presence of a parent.
Okay.
And the moodiness could be because he feels he's not getting the attention he wants.
Okay. Vivaan has a question on methodology. Like I mentioned, we'll be taking it up in a separate session. You can pose a query in the Facebook as well. If you are in part of any of the WhatsApp group, if you've joined it recently, you'll also be available in the WhatsApp. You can post your queries there. Okay. Ranjita, my son is 6 years. While talking, he talks very fast and loud voice and expressing tension.
He is under tension, I think. So what you need to do is hold your child, hug your child, and tell your child, okay, the same sentence you said, tell me very slowly. You count on your fingers. Mummy, I want some milk. So now you've slowed down your child's speech. It's because the child is under some tension. He's talking very fast. So this is how we control speech. Say, Mummy, can I go out? Mummy, can we watch TV? So teach your child to control speech with the fingers, and tell your child, take your time and talk, and give your child a lot of hugs and show affection. Looks like your child is under some tension. That is why he is talking very fast and loudly.
Yeah, that I think brings us to the end of the session, ma'am, because we have answered all the questions. In fact, I just inquired with Rajeshwari. She said that she would like to take a separate methodology session on this weekend, either on Saturday, Sunday. We'll have an exclusive session which is meant only for the methodology. Okay, so please hold on to all your questions regarding the methodology. So we'll come back again because it is almost about 9:40 now. And shall we bring this to an end, ma'am?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you very much, and thank you, parents. Okay,
it's an amazing session. What we have had is a different perspective of what we have, especially the couple of activities. How many of you parents realize that in this session itself we have given you more than about 15 to 20 activities? Please go through the recording once again. You will be clear on how many activities we have given only in this sessions. So as a customary practice, I'll be sharing a link of this session on our WhatsApp group as well as a Telegram group. It's a customary practice for those of you who have joined it in the recent past. Make it a point to click on that link, go and mention your one top learning in today's Q&A session. Okay, that's customary and mandatory, because when you do that, there are about 45 people, everybody picks up their one top learning. It might not have been an answer to your own question, but any question, it could have been a question from any other parent, but your one top learning, just one. We are not talking about the entire 1.5 hour session. One top learning out of today's session, you mentioned it, that will be a learning platform for a lot more, many other parents when they go through the chats, comments. Okay. So thanks a lot, ma'am. And
thank you very much. Thank you.
My wife just wants to come. I'll ask my.
I wanted to thank her.
Yeah. My wife wants to convey her regards to you because she's seeing you after a long time. 1 minute.
In my phone, so.
Go ahead, and if you want to take the methodology, you can.
I can do that. No.
Yeah.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Rajeshwari. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
You are seriously amazing. I was
Thank you.
throughout the session, and Since 12 years, I'm listening to you, but even today, as first session, I just just look at you and listen to you. This was an amazing session.
Thank you.
You are a blessing for us. That's what I feel.
It's a pleasure to be with you. Pleasure to be with you. Okay.
Thank you so
So
much.
thank you so much. Okay. Shall I take leave?
Yeah, you can, ma'am.
No,
You can
thank
take
you.
it.
Thank you and good
Dear
night.
parents, if you have the energy, if you all had your dinner, we'll extend it for another 15-20 minutes, and I think Rajeshwari will take up all the methodology questions as well.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 minute. Vivan had a question. Yeah. One ನಿಮಿಷ. ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿ. Yeah. Yeah. Name?
Okay, this is from Ashwini Kulkarni, right? Yeah. So my baby shows interest in flashcards, but does not show interest in reading books. I bought him age-appropriate book. When I start reading a book to him, he grabs it and starts playing with the book. Kindly suggest how to make him interested in reading. So the age 19 months. See, the child is very young, Ashwini. This interest will be there, but see, naturally children are very curious. So we need to figure out what is their interest at that particular age. Accordingly, we need to do the activities. So reading is one of the important things. For your, what kind of a books you have bought? Is it a A4 size book which you are using? If it is so, if it has only one picture, because he was not used to any kind of books till now, and now you just started introducing, go for A4 size picture book, and maybe one word and one picture a page, something like that can be started with. So initially we need to make him fall him into the pattern first. We need to set up a pattern first. Okay. So reading, it is not just, I have just told you and you just need to open the book and just go through. No, it won't work like that. You need to create that interest in the child first. Okay. So naturally they are interested in terms of they need more of different learning. Okay. So first the child need to get used to or maybe introduced to the things what he is. You just need to figure out what is his interest. Accordingly, you can just get the books and then start with it. Okay. So then I think slowly you need to take it further. I know you have just put the same question even in Facebook group. I have just answered one part. I think this question was pending and you tried and it didn't work. Nothing will just work like that. We need to make it work so many times with our children. Not every child is just going to fall into our pattern so easily. We need to make it happen as well. So this is a slow process. Take it step by step. Use all the methods. Let the pictures be little bigger and maybe the words are, maybe the sentences be very less when you choose a book. And maybe when you are reading it out, you have to read it very slowly, clearly, and maybe, pointing out on the word, not on the picture. Though you do this, the child is not interested and he wants to grab the book and it is new for him. So the book is very new and he wants to explore it in his own way. That is also there with the child. It's absolutely fine if the child does, but don't give any books which can be, spoiled, or maybe don't allow the child to just tear a page or anything like that. Just make the child understand this is something very important and we are going to use it for an activity sake. So initially, if the child wants to experience the books or something like that, give the hardbound books, not the thin page books. Okay. So don't worry, you have to continue doing this and he will fall into a pattern. Okay. You need to also make him fall into the pattern. It is not only that he will just get adjusted. No, you have to try out in various other ways. But maybe initially he just wants to grab and explore or just put it into his mouth. Just hold it for a few weeks and then restart. Okay. Yeah. So the next question is from Shilpi Bedi. If the child does not sit and watch the cards showing, then how do we do it? Okay. So what if he wants the cards in his hand? The age is 2.9 years. As I always say, between 1 2.5 to 2.8, I would say generally. It is 2.9, that is also fine. Till 3 years, I can take it as, So if the child does not show interest, just check on the number of repetitions what you have given. If there are already 5 days you did and the child lost interest, then it is the time for you to start replacing the cards. If not one, you can even you can do this for 1 to 2.5-year-old children like this. Just take the set of cards, show it for 5 days, and then start changing the cards. Okay, maybe in case if the child loses interest by 5 days, you can change the entire set of cards also according to the absorption level. Okay, and also you need to observe your child, why the child is not interested. Okay, if it is just the age and the child is just diverted towards so many other things, what is it making the child to get diverted out of these sessions? You need to figure out, is there a colorful toy around, is there a colorful curtain behind, or what is it making him not sit for the session? Something new. If there is a learning, the child would be happy to look at the cards. So maybe something is boring over there. Maybe the repetition is bore, or the child would have just already grabbed it because 2.5 to 2.9 is the age, something like that. They can just grasp it so quickly. Okay, so then start changing the cards. He will look at the cards, and what if he wants to hold the cards? If you have done already few revisions, those cards, the old cards which you already have done the revision, they are treated as old cards only. Anyways, so you can give those cards to the child. I mean, those are treated as use these cards for the sessions. So those cards you can give it to the child for playing purpose. Okay. So next, while doing the sessions, if he wants to hold the cards, you're not going to give it to him. You will be telling the child that, no, this is not for you. This is for mama. I will give you the ones which are already done. Okay. So those cards you can give it to him. If you have not yet done any revision, then let the child understand. You sit now, maybe after 5 days, I'll give you. After 4 days, I'll give you. After 3 days, another 2 days, you need to wait for the card. Something like this. Or maybe if the child knows few pictures, which you are not going to use it in the session, those things you can give it to the child. Okay, so just give one card in the hand and do your session. Or maybe you just do the session, and out of the session, you can give all other revised cards to the child. Fine. Next, Ritika Nikam is asking, my son is good at images, but with words, he is yet to pick up. Other thing is that he is right now taught things with phonics. If I teach him with A, B, etc., he will get confused. Is it a question for me? Will he get confused or he will get confused? He also had issue with concentration at all the times and likes to talk more than listen. Okay. So the child is 3.5 years. See, the child need not to pick up any words here. Okay, this is not the teaching what you are giving it to the child. This is just the stimulation. Treat it as an exercise. Don't make it as a learning for the child. So whatever you are showing, the pictures and the words in this methodology, this is nothing to do with their learning. Okay, this is just the stimulation. This is just the exercise what you are giving it to make more number of connections inside the brain. That's the agenda. Okay, so don't treat this. First of all, don't treat this as a learning pattern, so that you will not use words such as the child needs to get to pick up words. No, the child, it's absolutely fine when it comes to methodology. Okay, we don't expect the child to identify all the words and show us, tell us. No, we don't expect. If the child does, it's absolutely fine. Maybe it's a strong photographic memory which has stimulated and the child is able to do it. That's absolutely amazing. Even otherwise, whatever you're going to show in this methodology, it's all going to be stored in a corner of the brain. It will all pop up when it is required automatically. You need not to worry. Now is the time. We need to give this and we should give this. That's it. Okay. And again, if, So right now, taught things with phonics. Absolutely fine. Age relevant and do it. If I teach him ABCD, you mean alphabets, he will get confused. Don't teach alphabets like A, B, C, D. No, not required. You are doing in a phonic way. Let it continue. Let the child start using phonics and making those words by using the phonic sounds. Let it happen. So don't get the child confused with ABCD and all. Okay, the school will take care of all that. You don't bother about it if the child is going to school and that. Okay, he also had issues with concentration. See, maximum concentration as adults, we can concentrate around, 7 continuous minutes in a day. As adults, continuous minutes, it's just 7 minutes. How can you expect a child to just concentrate all the time and study and learn whatever you do? No, that's nothing to do with it. Your child's concentration is good. If something new, if it is interesting for the child will just show that concentration and grasp it if the child wants it. If the child doesn't like to, the child will not. You feel that the child lacks concentration. It's not that. Okay. At this age, you can never say that the child lacks concentration, because the grasping, memory, concentration, everything is just at the high between 0 to 6 years. Okay. So he talks more than he listens. He is a verbal child. You need to enhance his verbal skills. So work on the activities, choose the activities which enhances his verbal skills. Okay. So put him on to reading, put him on to listen to some other interesting facts, what he wants to, what he talks about, it's the same kind of things you can make him listen, so that he will also be interested in listening, because he talks such topics. So he gets to know a little more about what he talks, right? So that actually goes deeper into his mind, and he may actually come up little, when he speaks also, you can feel that depth. Even my child was like that. When my daughter was 2.5, 3 year old, she used to win by around 1.5 years old. She used to speak all the words and sentences, all the shlokas also, she was like that. By 3 years, when the maid comes, she doesn't know what to talk to her. She used to just keep on singing the lines, So Meena auntie came now, and she started sweeping, she started mopping, some song, some talk, something. Though she doesn't talk to her, she used to talk to her. It's absolutely fine. Now, when I see her as a grown-up child, 16-year-old, her verbal skills are too good. So I just made sure I enhance her verbal skills, I made sure she gets to learn so many new words from her English dictionary, worked on her vocabulary, or maybe we just made few mandatory things, every day, going through the dictionary and learning this many words and understanding, just started using it in her. We asked her to use in her sentences every day, So that made her like she is the special person who uses more of different words than her friends, and also because of this, her teachers also used to recognize her and, even motivate her to do better, and maybe kind of writing anything, maybe essay or reviews, or maybe, putting the thoughts in whatever the way she wants to, maybe writing the journal, just encouraging all such stuffs, maybe made her to what she is today. And then finally, by around 10 years, 10, 12 years, I put her to Toastmasters Club, that also catered. Like that, when you understand what is the intelligence the child has, you should not treat it as like talks more and listens less. No, he talks more, that's an advantage. So, wow, my child has this skill, so I need to enhance it. You need to work on it like that. Fine. Yeah. So maybe I will take up the next question. Okay. Usha is asking to 4.2 years and one more is 2.3 years. I could not make my 2.3-year-old sit for flashcards. He is not even interested. I started to show him. He will started to shout. What should I do? Please send me a demo video, Usha, and also let me see how the child is reacting, the demo video along with your child. And I would like to see how you are carrying on with your sessions and how the methodology is going on. Then probably I will help you out with this. Okay. This will not happen generally. Maybe if the child looks at the cards for a few days and loses interest, that is quite possible. But you just start showing the cards and he is not interested and shouting at it. There should be something which we need to look into it. Okay, please send me a video. And next, Ekta is asking, hello ma'am, I have completed 10 days yesterday, and from today, we have to change one card every day. And my question is, as you said earlier, that 30 repetitions are required for the stimulation. Then if we are replacing the cards every day, then only 15 repetitions takes place for picture cards. Am I correct? Shall I go like this, or any changes will require? Please suggest. My second question is, our mother tongue is Marathi. During session, my daughter asked me the meaning of word when what I do. Okay, then what I do. Should I tell her during session or explain her after the session? Okay, fine. 3.7-year-old. Okay, Ekta. So you are done with 10 days repetition. I have always made sure when I talk about 30 repetitions, I purposefully and also intentionally, I will let you know that I only talking about 30 repetitions for words, not pictures, because the pictures will actually be 5 cards and we will be just showing it for 15 repetitions, right? So that's absolutely fine. Go on. You are doing it rightly. No wrong here. So the 30 repetitions, we speak about words when we say we just even I give the example of connection, when how the papa connection happens, all that, right? So it is just 30 repetitions. Scientifically it is said like that, but pictures are so fascinating for them. They will not require 30 repetitions to register a colorful picture. So though we show it for 30 repetitions and it gets bored and they lose interest towards looking at the cards. Even the words, as we see children between 1 to 2.5 years, as we are seeing, they don't even want to look at the words, right, for 30 repetitions. But it is said like that. We may not be able to follow it completely because it goes according to the child also sometimes. Okay, if your child is sitting and looking at the cards, go on for 30 repetitions. That's proper, it's fine, absolutely okay. And 15 repetitions for pictures, that is also correct, and you are doing it great. Continue doing the same. And for the second question, when she asks the meaning of words, you can give her after the sessions, not in the sessions. Ask her, just let's finish this session and then I'm going to let you know the meanings. Now ask me which are the words which you wanted to know the meaning. After the session, you can give lot of things. No, you not only the meanings, you can even explain her about what it means, maybe in a broad way. Like as we say, like if you take a word road, go on from basic to higher end information. What is that gully between two houses, and maybe the crossroad, and which number of the crossroad where you are staying is the number of the crossroad, particular, maybe the marking, A cross, B cross, or maybe first cross, second cross, something like that. And then connecting it to the main road, and maybe to the highway, and to the national highway, and maybe the state highway, something like that. This can be done whenever you are free, whenever the child is interested to know a little more about it, you can do that. Okay, so Akila Krishnan, just a moment, one moment. Yes, I'm sorry, I just missed the questions. Akila Krishnan, okay. My kid is not at all looking at the word cards. I'm just showing her while she sits, lie down, stands, that too not in a single go. She turns her eyes even if I made her sit in a high chair. Is that okay with that stimulation? Yeah, will that stimulate left brain? Okay. See, when you call her for a session and she's looking at here and there and you are doing it, maybe as she's lying down, you're showing the card and, just finishing of the session like that for a few days, it's absolutely okay. But you are just putting her on the high chair and doing the session, that is absolutely okay. That will not stimulate, that will stimulate right as well as left brain. The methodology, how it is designed, is basically to stimulate the right brain. Okay, the materials what you use here, the content what it has, it will reach the left brain. Okay, So you will be stimulating both the brains if the methodology going in a proper way. Okay. So if the child is not interested, just check for the signs why she is not interested. Take 5 words, show it for 5 days, and then entirely change the full set of word cards. So take another 5 cards and then show it for 5 days. Try that method, even if that doesn't work, and let us see what we can do later. Okay. Next, how to use the kit. Shruti Patil, please go through the methodology session. It is in the parenting for your school. You have to have a little preparation before you start with your session. You need to arrange the cards that I have posted in the season 32 onboarding group, and go through that, and you can go through the methodology session and then send us a demo again in the same group onboarding 32, and we will let you know like whether it is going right or wrong, and then you can start with your child. Okay. So next, Shivaranjani, the child is 3.5 years. For picture cards, once all the cards from one topic over, how can I take a new topic of 5 cards? 5 cards are 5 cards, 1 card. Okay. See, basically how to complete a topic, whether it is words or pictures, understand. So now you have 5 pictures from one category. Let's assume it's animals. So today you have another only, you have 5 cards in your hand. You are left with 1 more card to add to this 5 cards. Okay. So you will remove an old card. Maybe you're going to just remove lion and add hippopotamus. Okay. So now you have 5 cards. Tomorrow you don't have anything to add on. So what you need to do, you need to keep removing 1 old card on that day. So maybe the tiger is there, you have taken out the tiger on the second day. So next 3rd day, you have only 4 cards in your hand. So you will be taking out another animal. So again, the other day you are going to do the same. So finally you have only 1 card on that day. Okay, you are just left with hippopotamus on the last day of that animal pictures. So on that day, the topic gets over. Next, what you need to do, go choose some other topic. Let's say you're going to take emotional cards. So 5 emotional cards, then show it for 10 days, and then only start replacing the cards. Taking out an old card and adding a new card will start happening later on. Got it? So same words also. Once you are done with small words bundle, you'll be keep removing, and only 1 word you are left with. From next day onwards, you will be taking another bundle, 10 words, show it for 10 days, then only you are going to start replacing the cards. This is how you will be doing it for changing any topics of either words or pictures. Okay, next. Harul Charanya, no question. Roshni, no question. Okay, fine. I think we're done with the methodology related questions. So good night, all of you. Let me just go through some chat. 1 second. Okay, in the chat box also, we don't have any other questions. So we'll wind up for today. See you in the next session. Good night, all of you.